Asuko James. All right, gentlemen, let's move on to our next story. Poverty, according to the late Indian statesman Mahatma Ghandi, is the worst form of violence. The manifestation of the statements can be seen in the festering banditry in some northern states. The governor of Katsina State, Dr. Dikko Radda, confirmed that poverty is a factor, whereas little as 500 naira is enough to lure youths into the crime. Governor Radda accused some government officials and security personnel of turning banditry to a business venture. Gentlemen, Aduye, let me start with you. Are you hearing this for the first time?
Yes, the governor is correct. It's correct to the extent that economic relations can fuel violence. And when we are talking about economic relations, it's not just about poverty, people being denied the essentials of life and being pushed to the extreme. Economic relations also relate to corruption. When there's high level of corruption, it automatically leads to denial of the comforts of life for millions of people. And because these people cannot survive within the law, they will break it in order to be able to live. If you look at the reports from National Bureau of Statistics, the level of people out of school, children in the Northeast, Northwest, the level of poverty, the level of hunger is synonymous with areas where we have banditry, kidnapping, and all sorts of things. So it means that there's a correlation between the economy and, social discomfort, like violence and all that. For instance, between 2020 and 2021, money collected was about, I think, 653.7 million, by bandits and all that. That's more than $500 million, in just 1 year. And we are talking of 2001, 2022. A lot of things have happened now between then and, even though it's going down a little bit. But even before then, 2018, 2020, and I'm sure the Office of Statistics cannot capture a lot of silent ransom payers. That people will kidnap them, they will pay ransom silently. It's not recorded by the media. It's not recorded by any statistics. And the office is not going from one community to the other. I know in my own community, people are kidnapped. And I'm sure that figure is not here. I'm going about 3-4 times. And people just gather money and then give it to them. So if we are being given a figure of 653.7 million, it means that it could be triple. So it is true that it has become a business venture. It has become something that people benefit from. Security officials, even traditional rulers, who are settled. It has become a cartel, just like drug began, and why did it take this shape? Because we didn't address this problem at the initial stages. We saw it as a law and order issue. That, okay, if it's Yusuf, you are doing this, okay, they arrested him, he was tortured to death. But addressing socio-economic crisis goes beyond law. You can make the finest laws in the world, but if people cannot eat, they will go out to, and steal in order to survive. So I think I agree with him that the economic problem is there. But that does not totally explain all the factors. The political factor is also there. There are kidnappings that are tailored to embarrass people in power. There are kidnappings tailored by certain forces to ensure that, look, we discredit the authorities in power so that we can make them to be unpopular. Because there are certain things that happen that you cannot just explain. And also, there is also a kind of a social crisis related to land between the Fulani, the Hausa, who are questioning historic situations. Look, land taken over from them, they want to take it over, back. And then there are also people driven by faith, by ideology. So what you have said does not explain. It's just a factor of a very complex cobweb that has different layers. So we cannot just take that economically as the only issue. So I think I agree with him that it's a major problem. And it means that while addressing this problem, we should also have an economic roadmap. It's not just about legal roadmap. It's not just about buying the best helicopter, Apache this and all that. We should have an economic roadmap to address the problem of poverty, the problem of loss of jobs, the problem of immigration. where people can come all the way from Mauritania and settle and nobody asks them questions. They don't have any loyalty to your country. They can do anything and get away with it. So I agree with him to an extent, but his position does not explain, all the other factors that are involved. Yeah.
Absolutely. Asuko, the governor seemed very convinced about the issues he has raised. And I mean, there are some Nigerians who are very convinced that some of the security agencies are led by saboteurs and not committed officers.
Yeah, exactly. Like most of the crime, that are being committed across, if you go deep down, you will notice that some security officials are part of them. Government officials are also parts, And so when a governor comes out and begins to accuse the security personnel as well as government officials, don't be surprised, because that is the intel he's getting. So it is not we that we are sitting here, that we are the ones that are saying it. It is the governor. The governor is saying it, And, there was a time, I think it was the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, that says, people in my cabinet, was it Jonathan that said, people in my cabinet are...
Yeah, it was former President Jonathan.
Yes. So that is the intel he got. So if a whole president can say that, how much more a governor? But where I want the governor, to be firm, is when you get these people, you know them, mention names. The problem we are having in Nigeria is that we keep just saying, if you don't have the company, you can't. You understand? You just say, oh, security personnel, they did that, this or that. Oh, government official, what did you do? If you don't do anything, the person will go back and do the same thing. And he will keep doing it until the thing becomes a cancer. So mention names. Give us evidence. No need for you to begin to paper the whole thing. No, don't hide. Because the crisis in the north, I keep saying it, can only be solved by northern leaders. I cannot stay in Lagos to go and solve the problem in the north. I don't live in the north. They are the ones there. It is the governor that is there. You are the one that know that, okay, bandits, lure your youth. The people you are supposed to be in school, lure them into crime with just 500 naira. When it gets to election time, they will even give them lesser amounts because the money has to go around. So if the governor knows these people, the NSA is there. Tell the NSA, or you come out in the media and then mention names and even put the whole thing there. Let people know. But what I've noticed is that when people, say things like this, they are always thinking about the next election. How to stay back. But it is not that. If you do well, I keep saying if a governor does well and he has the people behind him, he will win the next election. You don't need to begin to tell us, this happened. And so how is the police going to help you now? How is the government going to help you? You know these people, you are not mentioning their names, you are not doing anything. No. So if the northern leaders can all come together, they can solve this problem about banditry. They can solve this problem about banditry. Same with even the Islamic leaders and even the pastors that are in Katsina. What kind of message are you passing to your people? Is it the message of hope? Is it the message of when somebody lures you, you should be able to go and tell somebody higher, and then from there they will be able to, arrest those people? There are some states in the north now has been overtaken by bandits. Completely. I was seeing, it was just yesterday I was seeing a video online, about, I think it was the road going to Lokoja, from Lokoja, Abuja Road. Cars, about 500 cars lined as they all waited, and they were saying something about how that they've kidnapped some buses and all that. Is it not somebody's state? Don't we know those people? Some of these bandits, we know them. We know them, but we would prefer to keep quiet and say, I don't want problem also, let me keep quiet. Let him just be doing his business. See, everything about security is our responsibility. Because if it doesn't happen to you today, it will happen to you the next day. Because all of them are moving in gangs. All these bandits, they are gang leaders. They have gangs left, right, center. So if one gang does not adopt you today, another gang will do. So you must take responsibility and expose them.
All right, before we move on, let's go back to the economic factor which the governor has identified. I mean, the increasing poverty rates in the north. I was just checking the poverty index in Katsina State, for example, now, 56.42%. How do you judge northern governors on this? Because if you're saying your youths are being lured with just 500 naira, does it not mean you have to deal with this issue from inside, from the home front?
So they will always tell you that they have these elders-farmers clashes. Fine. But you are the governor. The governor has to find solution to it. And I think there was an idea about having the Ruga farm, which is ranching. I can say ranching. Let me use ranching, okay? Whereby the governor can do that. Farmers and elders will not have issues. If Katsina is good in cultivating any wonderful thing, maybe any foodstuff, these are the boys of bandits luring them into with 500. The governor can look at all this and say, when you are maybe on holiday, go and be farming for me. Go and be farming for government, for instance. I will be giving you 5,000 every week or something. It is an idea. It is just for somebody to sit down and begin to think how to engage these boys. If you engage them properly, they will not be lured by 500 naira. Because that 500 naira will end. So the government has to come out with a strategy whereby these guys will not be lured by these bandits. And the only way he can do that is to utilize what he has. If you have enough land, find how you can deal with the elders farmers clashes, meet with them, because I know there was a time even the former governor tried to even mediate over these bandits, even gave them amnesty. The next day they still went back to carry arms. So the best thing is, if Governor Radda wants to do, as he wants to take this thing and make everybody take him seriously, first come out with a strategy. The strategy of trying to deal with the elders farmers crisis, strategy of making sure that the youth are not being lured, by money, by 500 naira, And then thirdly, he should now come up with being very, very serious, having the political will. Anybody that is being seen of having links with bandits should be exposed. And he will do that. He should do that. By the time he exposes like 3, 4, 5, without any mercy, you will see that it will stop.
All right, quickly before we move on, Adeoye, he also said negotiating with bandits is not an efficient approach to addressing the menace of banditry.
Absolutely. What do they stand for that you want to be negotiating with them? People are there to steal your property. They are there to kill, to rape.
So some stakeholders have said this is the best non-kinetic approach.
There is no
it's born out of the crisis of the lack of clarity about what to do. Because just like I said, we have these solutions: economic, political, and judicial. There is the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2013. How many that even prescribes death sentence? How many people have been killed? How many people have been arrested? How many people have been prosecuted? So the aspect of the judiciary is there. Then the political aspect, which is the crisis of the national question. The minorities are rising up in the north, saying, look, over land issues, these are so, and that's why the concept of northern unity is no longer there. So you need to address their grievances. Their lands were taken over, during the 1804 crisis and all that. So you have to set up a kind of a way. Their language is lost, their civilization, so they are rebelling. So you need to have an economic solution, a political solution, and a judicial solution. Look at Katsina State that we're talking about. There are about 536,000 out of school children. So when you have that kind of situation in Katsina State, what do you expect? Poverty rate is 72%. So you need to know that in Katsina State, what is the best thing for them? Farming. So if there is no access to farms, how do you want to address the problem, the crisis of poverty?
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Let's move on quickly.